Good evening, lovely gamers. I have a couple announcements that I want to make before I start talking about this this nice deck list over here that has some cards that I really like. The first thing I would like to announce is I mentioned this on Twitter. If you follow some other people in the D&T community, you may have already seen it, but I'm going to throw it into the chat right now. If you type !Metafy, you can get a link to a Metafy D&T course that I have been working on with xJCloud, luinil, and Anuraag, who's been kind of running the whole thing, doing the recording and the editing on that side. We've been working really hard on this thing for the last couple of weeks, and our work is not finished. I'm going to bring it up on screen real quick just to give you an idea of what this even is all about. But yeah, so Metafy launched this idea of courses. We've recorded a ton of stuff already. An intro about the deck, talking about the way the deck is built, going into deep dives on basically every card that's in the deck at this point. And there's more coming. We recorded for like 2 hours last night even. So we're working really hard on this to make this like the biggest and deepest dive that's ever been done on this deck, and we're really proud of where it's at. And like I mentioned, we are continuing to work on it. There's 6 hours of stuff that's already up there, and it is only going to continue growing. So if this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend you check it out. There's a link in the chat if you are watching this on YouTube. I'm also going to include a link to it in the description of this stream VOD as well. This is a very cool project. I've been very happy to be a part of, and I hope that if you are interested, you get into it and enjoy it and leave your feedback, because it's just been a very cool project to be a part of, and I'm really glad that we're gonna keep making it just the best thing it can be. Second announcement, if we type !Showdown into the chat, is that some may be aware that there is a MTGO Creator Legacy Showdown this weekend. It is on Saturday, the 9th, starting at noon Eastern. And I'm going to be playing in it. It's a 6-round event. The pricing structure is pretty simple. It's just like, I think like $12.50 in cash to whoever's in first place, or a 6-0 record specifically. 5-1s get like $600, something like that. Prizes are really cool for an event that I just get to enter for free. It's awesome. And everybody who enters the event is going to be streaming it, including me. So, that is happening this Saturday, starting at noon. Really looking forward to that. I'll obviously come live a little bit before that. I don't know the exact timing yet, but we'll figure it out. I'll post on Twitter and Blue Sky. I am now on Blue Sky, by the way, at Akaleth there. I'm cross-posting, posting in both places for now, but I'm slowly going to be migrating over to Blue Sky, away from Twitter, for reasons that I hope do not need to be stated at this point. Now, as for the list in front of us, I just submitted this list to be the one that I'm going to be playing in the Creator Showdown, and I want to explain a couple things that are going on here. First is, I have cut Magus. I still like the idea of Magus, but I wanted to reel it in for a couple different reasons. First is that I specifically haven't given White Orchid Phantom much of a chance since most of the Eldrazi lists started playing a single basic, as opposed to when they were playing 2 basics, a waste and a forest. Most of them are only on 1 waste. So that gives White Orchid Phantom a little bit more strength in the Eldrazi matchup. So I want to give it a chance to prove itself to me, given that like meaningful change. The other thing is this right here, Cabal Therapy. We've gone over this before. This is far from the first time I'm playing Cabal Therapy. I've been missing this card a lot. And I'm actually... So the reason I thought about this specifically for the Creator Showdown is just kind of like a... Therapy is fine. It covers a lot of bases that I expect would be not covered very well by a stock build, just because a lot of these people are going to be relatively new to the Legacy format. So I suspect that the average person might gravitate towards the decks that they think are cool rather than the decks that they think are the best. I could obviously be completely wrong in that read. But, you know, I just wanted to have my bases covered a little bit, especially because I feel particularly strong against Blue-Black Reanimator with the way that I've built my deck. And I've also honestly just been wondering if Cabal Therapy is a card that I'm going to be happy to have against both Eldrazi and Nadu, which feel like the two most problematic matchups for the deck right now. Therapy against both of those decks is absolutely not as good as Therapy was against the decks that I was playing it for 6-7 months ago. But when we look at Eldrazi as a matchup where you just need them to be able to cast as few cards as possible, maybe Therapy is the way to go about that. Just get more stuff out of their hand for as cheap as you can, and then kind of hope from there. Similarly against Nadu, because there are actually only so many cards that you care about. Being able to Therapy away Nadus or Nomads, depending on where things are going, is pretty nice. Just getting games down to low resources, especially in those matchups where your creatures in play tend to kind of suck. So they're pretty easy to throw away to a Therapy to just exchange for a card. Yeah, exactly. Like Thoughtseize has been so good in the matchups that I'm most afraid of that I am a little bit... I feel a little silly that for as much as I love Therapy, I didn't really think about it until like yesterday. But maybe it's good. It's like close enough to like the missing piece of this puzzle to fix those matchups. And if it is, I'm going to be so happy that I get to put these back into my deck. But we'll see. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So that's the idea here. I thought of it originally to cover bases of like just having extra discard spells against the nonsense. And then I actually kind of thought, well, maybe it's the way to make the games against Nadu and Eldrazi take long enough for you to actually get a coherent game plan together. Because the best way to deal with the Sowing Myco spawn is just discard it so they can never cast it. So that's what we're going to try. If it ends up being good enough, which I hope it is, I wonder if we just cut the White Orchids again. Maybe, but I would feel a little wary playing a version of Black-White that has no extra cards that interact with lands. It might be worth it. It's not like I am definitely not in any way, shape, or form married to White Orchid Phantom. I just think that if you compare white-black to basically every other build of D&T, the thing that you struggle with the most is problematic lands in play. And that's why I put the White Orchid Phantoms in my sideboard in the first place. But I do think it is really going to depend on whether White Orchid Phantom ends up being good enough against the one basic Eldrazi decks. If the answer is no, you can probably just cut it and play more removal and more therapy, stuff like that. Like exactly like you're saying. Blog boy, huh? Pox extraordinaire. Well, this hand's pretty bad against smallpox. It does have an Aether Vial. That is like the best card versus smallpox in a way. I wish that it wasn't 3/3 drops. I'm not even sure that a turn 2 smallpox is awful because we have Aether Vial. I'm going to keep it. We're on the draw. It's going to be fine. Oh boy. Oh, it is a bold keep. Don't get me wrong. Nice. No smallpox. Cool. I didn't really want the second Spirit of Labyrinth, let alone the third, but okay. Two Mishra's Factories. Okay, okay. Just dunking us for 5. Sure. All right. Okay. Sure. Karn, the Great Creator. Okay. Game's over. Got it. It's not really over. If I draw a white source and any other lands, then like I guess I won't do it because of liquid metal coating, so never mind. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Right on time. Yeah, so we can stun rain us every turn, so we're dead. Well, we tried. Went about as poorly as it could have, unfortunately. So what do I want to change? I don't want these Spirit of the Labyrinths. I probably want Path to Exiles. I'm not really sure what else I want. I don't really want to board in Cabal Therapies against them. I think I'm good. I might board in White Orchid Phantoms, honestly, just because we saw Mishra's Factories. It's very much a deck that could have Urza Saga as well. And these decks tend to have nothing that can beat a 2/2 first striker. So I think it's at least better than Spirit of the Labyrinth. What do you want Ghost Vacuum for? We saw a Bowmaster. There's not going to be another Spirit in his deck. I'm also not sure I would care, even if it did, because Nether Spirit's a 2/2. Interesting, interesting. Aether Vial is still pretty broken, and at least we have literally any other lands here. So the Cauldron is annoying, but I still like everything else about this hand pretty much. Also, opponent mulling to 6. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Vista for planes here, and then I'm probably gonna surveil with the fetch. Interesting. Nice. I think I want this on top. Yeah. I like drawing lands. Another black spell, Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, this is definitely an Urza Saga deck, so I'm glad I have glad I have White Orchid Phantoms. So I think what we're going to do here is Skyclave the Retrofitter Foundry. And then next turn we can Wisp the Skyclave to get the Needle or something else. And then we'll take the Vial up to 5. But I like starting with just keeping them from getting to... Actually, if they spend their mana on this, I might even up really upset about it. Yeah, I guess if they do it for literally 1 turn, I really don't care. So I'll just get the Pithing Needle out before they like remove my Skyclave in response to a Wisp. Sure. Ooh, Formal Wear's got to be like broken in this matchup. I guess they have Ghost Vacuum, so never mind, it's not broken. But still, we're gonna get there. It's gonna make them think I have another 3-drop. And I think I'm actually getting rid of the Ghost Vacuum so that I can use my pre-war Formal Wear. Maybe that's coping though. I don't think it is, because I think if I get to cast a Formal Wear to ensure that like I'm gonna get to use this Skyclave again later, like I just don't even see how I lose this game. Yes, please. So if I attack with the Skyclave, it potentially baits them into double blocking, and then I get to formal wear it back. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I suspect they're just gonna block here and then turn it into... Oh, no, okay, cool. They are double blocking. Deal. Alright, how does the third Skyclave apparition feel? I think I probably should just wasteland this now. Yeah. I have the Vial in play, Solitude's coming down, I have a Yorion that can come into play too. I think Castle Lockthwain is like the only way they really get out of this. Of course, they immediately draw Urza Saga, but let's just draw White Orchid Phantom, Wasteland, Marsh Flats. And then you can see it anyway. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to go up to another White Orchid Phantom. I'm not sure what I'm cutting. Might not even want another Path to Exile. We haven't seen... I assume... I feel like they must have, like, Opposition Agent in their deck somewhere, but we haven't seen it yet. So we haven't actually seen a lot of situations where Path would be good. Maybe Path is better than Lion Sash, though. Path is probably better than Lion Sash. Yeah, let's do that. I'm glad my read on it being an Urza Saga deck was correct. Hi, Cauldra. No one asked. Strass Daddy, how's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome, everybody. I am going to keep this annoying 6-card hand again, but we'll live. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Just a turn 1 Karn. Sick. Love it. If only one of these was a fetch land. What a bummer. Cool. Great game. Love it. Sick. Dark Ritual into Karn is just the worst vibes possible. Heard it here first. The worst non-Eldrazi vibes possible. How about that? Alright, we're going to keep playing Vile hands. This one's a little clunky, but Wasteland and Solitude are both kind of spells, so A lot of persistence. That's how you get trophies with TNT. Layer of the Hydra. So it's Cradle. Yeah. Okay. It's something like that, yeah. Really, I think the reality is there's only so much agency you have sometimes, and you just gotta live with it. Oh, it's going off. So much mana. But they don't even cast a 2-drop? That's weird. Interesting. Well, I was gonna just play a Marsh Flats. Now I'm a little tempted to Wasteland the Cradle. They obviously have enough mana. But if they're playing Cradle Control and they aren't casting anything off of 3 mana, there's basically only one other thing that could be happening, and it's that they have Natural Order in their hands. And like 3 more lands, I guess. I'm not sure. So I'm like, what else could it be? If it was a green Sun Zenith, they'd cast it for 2. If they had a white, they would have cast it. Like, what would they have in their hands that they would not cast with 3 green mana? And Endurance, maybe? That doesn't seem very real to me, though. They're not a Chord deck, though. Also, that they could Chord for 1 here. There's 100% a Natural Order over there. It's just surprising to me that it would be a Natural Order plus 3 lands. That would be surprising to me. That might just be the case, but and I think if that's the case, I'm kind of tempted to waste Cradle and Solitude one of the Ignoble Hierarchs. But I think that's actually probably bad, because if they have more lands, they're going to cast Natural Order eventually. So I'd rather save the Solitude for the Atraxa they're going to get off of it. Which then begs the question, do I want to waste the Cradle, or do I just plan on casting Skyclave next turn? I think I am going to cast Skyclave next turn. It took me a very long time to get to that, but I think if they have Natural Order, I'm going to let them do it. Solitude the Atraxa, and we'll move on from there. And if they're end stepping in Endurance, good for them. They are going to hit us for 5. That is true. Ouchie. And they're passing the turn. Okay, sure. I'm really confused. Don't want that. Goodbye. Perfect. So I guess I'm sky claving the endurance here. Yeah, this feels weird. I feel like they just should be doing more than this, and I'm not really sure what's going on. You got it. Yeah, you can endurance again. I'm just gonna chump with the spirit on this one. Another Dryad Arbor. So their Cradle makes a bunch of mana. Hopefully they're just making a big layer of the Hydra and not casting a Craterhoof Behemoth from their hands. This looks like a layer of the Hydra activation. It is. Okay. This just becomes 7/7, no abilities. Yeah, okay. That's fine. So I'm going to chump with the spirit here then. Yeah. Okay, and now I get to go off a little bit this turn. Sick. That is going to be... I'm not doing it this turn. So I think what I'm doing right now is I'm going to cast Recruiter to get a Flicker Wisp, pitch the other Recruiter to Solitude, then Wisp the Solitude on the stack. I think I am probably going to exile the Endurance and a Dryad Arbor, probably. And then I'm going to waste the layer of the Hydra. They would have they would have 6 mana in play essentially. Or I could leave them with I can either leave them with Cradle plus Arbor, Hierarch, or Layer, Arbor, Hierarch. The layer doesn't really do much with just these 3 in play. Do I just go for mana? I might just go for mana then. Yeah, I think we just don't care about endurance enough. Edric, HWM, thank you so much for the follow. Hope that's right. Oh god, I just misclicked. Sick. Oops. I meant to get a Flicker Wisp instead of a Solitude. I goofed here. I was just not paying enough attention. What do we do with that? I think that forces us to wasteland the layer. And we're probably not losing to anything that we wouldn't have lost to anyway, but we should have my opponent should have a much less scary board than this. I just totally goofed. I'm gonna chump block this, I think. Yeah. Bayou is fine. Okay. Alright. Let's do this right this time. All right. Flicker Wisp. There we go. So now we have to do this in our upkeep, and we have to pitch a Solitude to do it, which is not the best feeling in the world. I guess, do we even do it in that case? Let me think. So what we could actually do here is just Wisp the Skyclave. Gives him a 3/3 though, which is kind of big. But I think now that I'm one turn away from taking my Vial up to 5 anyway, I think that I'm just gonna tick up to 4. Yeah, okay. I think I know what I'm doing here. We definitely just did this all wrong, but we're figuring it out. And that is a very nice draw, because what it lets us do is actually pitch the Wisp to the Solitude and Emperor it back on this turn, which is not amazing, but it does at least let us keep a Solitude in our hand, which I think is better than the other option here. So yeah, I'm going to take out both of the Dryad Arbors here. Maybe both the Hierarchs, actually. I think getting rid of the Hierarchs is actually better because the Exalted kind of matters. If you wait, I can Yorion to flicker the Solitude. That is true. I don't even have to use it right now, so we'll just probably. I would actually I have to draw a land in order for that to happen, and it's not going to happen anyway because they have main deck Fatal Push. So okay. But if I draw any white card, then I get to actually do the Solitude Yorion trick next turn, which is also going to be great. I can eventually redeem myself. White of the Reliquary. Okay. Any white card would be great here. That is not a white card, but we can live with it. So I think in this case we want to Solitude the white immediately, and then we'll put Yorion in our hands and Surveil with this. I'm still kind of shocked by how little pressure they've been able to put on me. Although I guess now I have to make the decision of whether I want to Surveil or not, because this would be me going to 1. Would I rather have a 5th mana in play or a Recruiter in play? I think the answer is I would rather have a Recruiter. So I'm just going to let myself go to 1 here. Maybe that's coping. They do have a lot of 1/1s. Yeah, I'm going to take the block. And I think I'd rather block with Recruiter than the Skyclave because I would just recruit for any the stuff that I already have in play. So I'm glad my opponent's drawing all these whites after I've finally gotten through all of my missteps in the mid game here. Goodbye. Do not want you. I'm going to keep that around as a white card, honestly, I think. I'm just going to do this now. They get a 3/3. I get my stuff back. I'm going to Skyclave Ignoble Hierarch Solitude, the white. Okay, third white. I do need to draw an answer for it though, but I have a lot of things I can draw. That is not one of them, unfortunately. So I'm not dead, but it definitely looks a little dicey now. Yeah, I've just got to pass here. Just need all the blockers in play that I can get. Oh, and this is a natural order. So I was dead even if I found an answer for that white. Got it. Okay, I goofed quite a bit, so we're going to have to tighten it up here. But we got a lot of things to bring in post-board. All of these, I'm going to cut these Stinky Spirit of the Labyrinths. I don't want Loron. I don't really want Flicker Wisp much either. And that might just be it. Yeah. Let's roll with it. Sick. Love it. Let's get a new hand. Oh my god. Get out of here. I'm going to keep this one mostly off of the power of Containment Priest, but it is kind of annoying that this hand doesn't actually do a whole lot, but we'll figure it out. I'm just going to cross my fingers that my opponent tries to cast a Green Sun Zenith on turn 2. I'm going to play Prismatic Vista. Yeah, because if I have to cast Containment Priest, I'd rather use the fetch that does not get a Surveil land. I was looking a little bit like a Green Sun Zenith, huh? Hell yeah, let's go. Alright, don't have snuff out, because that would be mean. Damn. Okay. Hello, White of the Reliquary. Can I get a removal spell of any sorts? That would be great, please. That is not it. Although I have this mom online, which is pretty nice. I think I'm gonna just have a containment priest waiting for if something dumb happens. They can't really attack here, which is kind of nice. I guess they kind of can. They could. This could become a 4/4. They'd have to sacrifice their hierarch to do it, though. Okay. I'm gonna... My charitable reading is that they're doing this to force the containment priest so that they can cast a natural order next turn. And I'm guessing this is going to get a Dryad Arbor while this Adapt is on the stack. No, it's getting a Talon Gates. Okay. That feels like a pretty aggressive use of a Talon Gates. Do they have another Snuff Out? No, they have a Fatal Push. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. There's a Safekeeper? Yeah. Okay. And a Hierarch. Alright, this looks a little rough. This was definitely the risk of keeping this hand, is that it didn't really interact with the board all that effectively, and I do not want a Cabal Therapy right now. That's for sure. Sick. Yeah, this is rough. I guess we're going to put Yorn into our hands. No basics left in their deck, so Path is free, but still mostly just dead to them casting any spells, huh? Is this just 4/4 layer the Hydra? Yeah. Alright, I'll block. Do I want want to keep this on 3. I think I do. I think I want to maximize. I'm probably just going to Lotus Petal my Karakas to cast Yori on this turn anyway, just so I get a blocker in play. And that is going to be better if I draw a 3-drop. I don't draw a 3-drop. But we'll figure it out. Goodbye, Hierarch. What are they getting this time? Okay, that makes sense. Wish Jite was in my deck right now, that's for sure. Is this a weird... Is this lethal natural order for hoof? If they have the extra creature in play. It's 5, 10, 11... Yeah, 20, it's 23. Yeah, okay. Well, that sucked. Definitely through that first match just misclicking, and then that second game just our Malta 6 was a hand that was pretty contingent on our opponent not having a removal spell and also playing pretty hard into a Containment Priest. That would have done really well if they didn't have the Snuff out, but alas. It's a little too much removal from them. This is a mono white ass hand if I've ever seen one. I'm gonna keep it. Opponent's mulling to 6. This hand's, other than the lack of removal, this hand's pretty coherent, so. Opponent's mulling to 5. I hope that's good for me and not terrible. Interesting. Could be anything. Yeah, why do all the 7s look like this? The classic. One nice thing about Island off Ponder is that it means we are not worried about getting Entomb reanimated next turn. Now we're not worried about getting Entomb reanimated at all. See ya. So this is probably Esper Stoneblade then, if I had to guess. Yeah, fellow Marsh Flats deck feels like it's probably Stoneblade. Is this Tameo into a Brainstorm? Annoying. Okay, so I have a couple options here. I think so. One thing I could do is I could just wisp the Tameo right now. That's a little weak into them having another brainstorm. It's also a little concerning into force of will. But I guess I'm supposed to just be okay with that, probably. Just wisp the Tameo, force them to flip it again. It can't even attack into the wisp. Yeah, I think that works. The other option I saw was potentially Spirit plus potentially Wastelanding the Tundra. But I think just unflipping the Tameo before they get to use the minus is pretty good. And they have to flip it right away because they know I have Caracas, so. And that's fine. I guess it gets them a clue token, but whatever. Okay. Digging for a ponder, maybe? Do they just have a ponder? Okay, sure. Jesus. In that case, I think we're just going Spirit plus Stoneforge. Stoneforge can't really get a Cauldra because I know that they can just get a Swords to Plowshares. But I guess that's fine because it means the Spirit can also attack the Tameo. So let's see. Yeah, let's start with the Stoneforge. Yeah, I think we just have to Cauldra check them, and then I'm gonna do this. Cross my fingers. It's definitely the most headache that Tameo's given me in a while. I guess it doesn't help that we've drawn, I think, literally all lands. One, two, three. Yeah, it has been all lands. I don't love that my Spirit got Swords over my Stoneforge. Prismatic Ending. Yeah, damn it. Well, the Tameo has to take up twice, so that gives us a little bit of time. So annoying having Emperor against a deck full of exile removal spells. I am going to waste the Tundra here. Actually, am I? Or do I just want to have Casting Cauldra? I think I just want to have Casting Cauldra being out. And in the interest of putting an iota of pressure on them, I'm going to play an Emperor Bones. No creatures anywhere. But I will take some of the spells out of their yard. I think I'm just going to go for the removal spells. Yeah, Skyclave would be amazing. I guess the other thing not Wastelanding does is it lets me recruit for a Skyclave next turn also. So yeah, I think wasting here is just wrong. They keep a card on top. Don't love that. Okay. That makes sense why. They get a Cauldron? Sure. And they also have a Psychic Frog. Okay, yeah, that sucks. Give me something good. Something good, deck. That is not good. I think I still have to attack the Tameo here, annoyingly. It becomes a 3/4, which I think is good enough in combat, especially when I know that one of their cards that they have in their hand is something they absolutely do not want to discard. Not right now, Jax. So yeah, we're going to get hit for a bunch here, but nothing to do about it. The fact that we can reset our Cauldron multiple times definitely means we win the Cauldron war in the long run, so I'm less concerned about that. But Cauldron plus Psychic Frog is it's a scary combo, especially because they haven't cast a Force of Will yet, so that's also a little bit concerning. I also definitely just misclicked with this Emperor. That's supposed to have gotten a Prismatic Ending. I guess it doesn't matter. No more lands, please. Go away. What would be the best draw? Not that. Yeah, just don't have Force of Will, please. Damn it. Force pitching force. Okay, that explains a lot. So we need to find literally any removal spell somewhere. Thoughtseize. The worst time Thoughtseize in the world. Okay. We need to find like a Flicker Wisp would be pretty good. Swords is something. I think I'm actually supposed to eat some permanents now because it forces them to, if they want to keep my Alliance Ash from getting bigger, it means they have to exile stuff to give the frog flying now. Okay, cool. Just all the removal spells, got it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to save the Wastelands until they play their 6th lands. I'm not too worried about the mana they have in play until they can start equipping Cauldron again. my god. No more lands. I refuse. Hello, Jax. Okay. I'm not playing around Hardcast Force. But we make it anyway. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't really care so much about that much mana in play, but I think there's not really much value in wasting this since I've already not lost to Force of Will there, so I think I'd rather just keep my mana in play for now. Don't keep your card on top. I want to keep my cards on top, but I just keep finding lands. What gives? What is this? Teferi. Ugh. That is horrible. Okay. Nightmare. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. It's definitely one of those everything that can go wrong goes wrong kind of games. What do I need now? I guess still any removal spell is fine. That doesn't count because I can't exile a Cauldron. So the ends. Everything's been exiled, so my formal wear can't do anything. I can cast Phantom Blade, but it doesn't matter. I guess I can technically block a turn, I guess, but I guess it's worth doing. Whoops. There we go. Nope, Jax. Don't go there. Don't go there, Jax. Don't go there, Jax. There we go. Okay. It's annoying how we are still barely in this despite how wrong everything has gone. Never mind. Never mind. Shouldn't have said anything. Okay, this is a matchup I'm very happy to have Cabal Therapy, though. I want Cabal Therapy, I want Paths, and that's probably it. Maybe Split Up, but probably not. I don't want Sash. What else do I not want? Not a whole lot, honestly. Wisp is medium. It's good against Cauldron, but the primary plan is just to keep Cauldron from getting into play in the first place. So I think I would rather most of my spells keep that from happening. I think the rest of them do that pretty well. Yeah, I think we'll roll with this. Thoughtseize into Cabal Therapy. Let's do it. I don't know if this is... I think this hand's like a little bit borderline, but I think this is, you know... The Solitude will be good if the game slows down, and a really good way to slow down the game is make it so that opponent never gets to do anything. What do we want to take here? I think I'm going to take the Wrath of the Skies. I don't want this Wrath of the Skies to be in play, I think. And I think my plan is to Cabal Therapy Psychic Frog. I could also just take the Ponder. This hand does kind of suck without the Ponder, especially if I Therapy the Frog. And if they force pitching Consign to protect the Frog. We do it this way specifically because it may draw upon another frog. Right, exactly. That's why we want a Therapy Frog. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Ponder. Because everything else just kind of... It's kind of reactive and not very good. So... these fetches are all the same now that the basic swamp's in play, so... They drew it to Fairy. Okay. There we go. Hopefully they surveil here and it's good to wasteland them too. Slow things down even further. They don't. Okay. I don't dislike this card, I just don't really want it right now. Annoying. Yeah. Alright, hopefully they don't just draw a land into Farios. I guess they get to Surveil for one, which doesn't feel great either. Yeah. Once again, the weakness in this hand is that it didn't put on pressure, which would have been okay if we did not draw literally lands for every draw step again. It's only been 2 of them, to be fair. Or no, it's been 3, 2. I can't count. I would just like to draw a card that I can put onto the board, please. That's all I'm asking for. That counts. Has the added benefit of allowing me to wasteland so they can't cast their Wrath of the Skies. Although if they force this, then I'm just going to let it go. Okay, cool. Nice. Now we're getting somewhere. At least kinda. They didn't even plus with Teferi. Oops. Okay, that makes sense. I guess I'm passing. Can't F6 because if they play specifically Tamiya, I'm going to want to Caracas that. But nothing else they do can really respond to? Okay. Can I get Skyclave or something? Formal Wear does not work. No creatures in the graveyard. Do I just cast Solitude as a 3/2? What is Wrath, Consign, Force right now? I think I do. I just got to get something in play right now. And I think I can afford to throw this Solitude away into a removal spell specifically because I have swords. Tony Scapone, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome everybody. There will be no rituals of any kind cast here today. I hope that that is okay with all of y'all. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. My opponent's kept on top with every surveil, and I have binned every surveil. It doesn't feel nice. Let's play a Psychic Frog that I can swords. No, they kept and then didn't play anything. Interesting. Thank you for the gifted sub too. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Proof that binning feels bad when you do it and good when your opponent does. Yeah, right. I think what I actually want to do here is flashback this therapy so that I can get some use out of my formal wear right now. I know one remaining card in their hand. I am not upset to get rid of this Wrath of the Skies. Yeah, I think I just desperately want to be able to do something. So getting the Wrath out of their hands, that will eventually be an annoying thing for them to cast. What do they get here? Swords, Ponder. Okay, they can't cast that, so that's fine. Or no, they can. They have Teferi. Right. Wrath of the Skies. Let's get rid of that. They have Cauldra and Force. Perfect. So now maybe they'll ponder into a blue card and I'll feel a little upset about this, but I guess if the end state is their hand is Cauldra and nothing else, that's also not the worst thing in the world. I guess they can bounce their Snapcaster. That's a little annoying, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, figures. I wonder if my opponent actually that actually explains a lot. My opponent kept on top and then didn't do anything. I think it was the Cauldra that was on top and they just didn't they correctly felt like they just couldn't afford to bin it. So that makes sense. I'm gonna swords this before they can just Teferi it. And I'm also going to put Yorin in my hand to cast next turn, and hopefully they won't be able to force it. Jace? Okay, I might be doomed. This is so annoying. All right. So what are our options? I feel like I have to Emperor something. I can't let them have two Planeswalkers in play. The annoying thing is that I have no way to kill the Jace, which makes me think that I should just kill the Teferi. The best way to go about that is Emperor their Psychic Frog, and at least I get a card out of the deal. They probably found another blue card, yeah, but I can't play around it, can I? If they found another blue card, the best thing I can do is force them to use it on the Emperor. And then I can get the Emperor back next turn with Yorion blinking the Formalware. Literally, where are my Skyclave Apparitions? That's my question. And my Recruiter the cards. I have not drawn Recruiter or Skyclave this match. That's 7 whole cards. They're like the best cards in the matchup. Yeah, okay. Force, pitching, consign. Okay. Sigh. Okay. Yeah, I need bodies in play. Not like a 99% chance they shuffled this Cauldron away, but yeah, I'm just going to assume that they shuffled it away. I like that they're spending a lot of mana cantripping. That feels relatively good for me. Okay. Jesus Christ. Why did you board that in here? Yeah, if they don't have swords, it's fine. I feel like they probably do because they have it every time I don't want them to. I guess I was probably supposed to keep this untapped. Yeah, okay. I guess it's fine. I'm very confused. Did they just forget that I could do that? Sure. All right. Sick. Phew. Okay. That game was really getting on my nerves. How everything went, but we beat Jace brainstorming 3 times, so feeling pretty good about that, all told. Do I want to change anything? I will keep in mind that they have Harbinger of the Seas in their deck, but I guess they just wanted to get me. They potentially could have if they just didn't. I don't know. Deck, stop making me mold a 6 with hands like this. It probably should have. I will say I am very much a proponent of fate sealing with Jace the first turn it's down a lot more than people do, as someone who has admittedly basically never cast Jace in his life. In that specific situation, I think I think they should have words. They should have brainstormed because they were under so little pressure that they just needed to get their game plan going. Gonna keep this. I think I'm bottoming the second Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think the only other option I really see is bottoming the Wasteland. So one of these two. But with my luck today, if I bottom the Wastelands, I will never, ever draw another land. But I'm gonna pin the Wastelands. Yeah, we did have a fetch. That is true, and I also forgot about that. So yeah, I think they should have brainstormed. I forgot about the fetch. Let's do it again. Thoughtseize Therapy. Match made in heaven. Two islands, interesting. I guess I'm a little bit tempted to take the Thoughtseize because I think my opponent is then just gonna like play Tamiyo and try to brainstorm right away because they kind of did that last time. Maybe that is because I think I would really like them to not Thoughtseize me, but maybe I don't care about that. I guess they can't even Thoughtseize me this turn because their Black Source comes into play untapped. So this is really interesting. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this because I think I could take the Tamiyo, but letting them cast the Brainstorm certainly makes the follow-up therapy feel less effective. If my opponent just plays Tamiyo and holds up Brainstorm, then it looks a little awkward into my current hand, although I could like therapy force them to cast the Brainstorm in Solitude in response. I think I'm going to take the Brainstorm. But I think it is a very interesting decision here. Yeah, we'll go with Brainstorm. Ponder next is actually pretty interesting. I guess the idea is they don't want to play Tamiyo with no mana up, which makes some sense. Because they're going to Undercity Sewers here, yeah. And they kept. Oh, alright. Marsh Flats is pretty nice. I think I kind of like... they did not shuffle off the Ponder. I think I like just playing Spirit here. Therapy is going to be good for a while. Spirit makes the Tamiyo in their hand pretty bad. Um, yeah. Take the Solitude, play an island. I assume they're playing Tameo here. Yeah, okay. Can I draw Caracas? That'd be cool. Not quite. Recruiter's a pretty nice draw, though. Yeah, so the way that we played this, it was sort of 4 mana efficiency in exchange for not knowing what to therapy now. But I think that's honestly okay because Stoneforge means that therapy is always going to have a really good thing that you can name with it. And I like here getting to also just cast a second spirit, so this Tameo is still pretty ineffectual. And then we'll probably surveil this turn and get to recruit for any manner of things. Probably a Skyclave, just to have the most generic answer. Obviously, my opponent can still crack clue tokens on their turn to draw a card, but that's pretty slow, especially when they're taking 6 a turn from the Spirit of Labyrinths right now. Skyclave here would be great. Can I finally draw it? No. I don't want to bin that, but I really don't want to draw it either, so what are you going to do? Psychic Frog makes this pretty interesting. They can discard 2 cards to kill one of my spirits. I think I'm going to let them take that exchange. Yeah. I am happy for them to not have Teferi. I'm happy. Yeah, they're just discarding cards they can't really cast, but are eventually going to be able to, and I'm going to be annoyed when they can. So I'm pretty happy with that exchange. Especially because this frog is not going to draw a card still. I'm just going to get a Skyclave so that I have answers to everything. And I'm feeling pretty okay. The worst thing they could be is if the last card in their hand is exactly Fatal Push, but I don't think that the Stoneforge decks even play Fatal Push because they're a Swords to Plowshares Prismatic Ending deck. So if it's a Swords and this gets them a white source, then it looks a bit worse. But we still have Skyclave, so. That is only kind of a white source. Okay. You got it. I'm glad I have 2 basic planes. Okay, yeah, I think this game is now kind of over. They can't cast white spells. Yeah, I like don't want them to trade with Harbinger. The clues could claw them back, but I'm gonna Yorion in 2 turns, so and that feels pretty hard for them to beat, especially because they can only clue once every turn cycle. So, yeah. I wonder if it was a misclick on that. Another Jace, Jesus, okay. What was I saying? I do legitimately wonder if this was a misclick, because it was off of Polluted Delta. They could have at least got like a basic swamp, I don't know. Right, they Fate Sealed me and kept it on top. It's a Thoughtseize. Okay, sure. The clock's getting low, but my opponent's on less time than I am. And they put that one on the bottom. So it's a fresh card on top. What am I even getting off this recruiter? Probably a Solitude, I guess. Yeah, sure, Solitude. Yeah, I was a little worried about Consign. Either Consign or like cycle a clue into Force Blue card. I hope one of these draw steps I just draw my basic swamp. That'd be pretty swell. I'm just gonna untap, whatever. What I potentially could have done was Solitude the Harbinger in their end step, and then untapped and cast all my spells before they have the chance to cast any of them. But cool, we got there. Phew, that was definitely a head scratcher, but we got there. I do not know why they boarded in Harbinger, but that's on them. We're on this. We're on the board. We're on the board. Excuse me. First two matches went quick, and the third match took as much time as the other two. Alright. Last scene playing Demir Tempo. That'd be nice. That's usually a relatively easy matchup. Sand is not great. But Surveil lands will save me, right? They've been doing so well today. Sure. Love an 0-1 Netherglyph. I'm going to start with the Prismatic Vista here. Going to take 5 damage off my lands this game, apparently. Did my opponent just brainstorm lock themselves? Okay, there we go. Thoughtseize. So I could cast the swords here, but I think that is just worse than solituding instead, because it's going to be the same end result, except if I solitude, then I'm playing around days. Yep. Hello? Okay. Should be Magic Online. I would like to exile that white card, please. There we go. I'm specifically going to make sure to stack this right so that the Netherglyph only causes my opponent to gain 1 life instead of 2. And then my opponent gets to see a hand of lands. Definitely fetching here because I need to get all the lands out of my deck and draw stuff that's not lands. That, it's not what I want right now, but it's probably going to be good eventually. Oh, stacking doesn't matter for Netherglyph. I'm thinking of Barrowglyph. Yeah, Netherglyph is only stuff in their yard. Well, I'm glad that they're oh, never mind. Why did you fetch and then brainstorm? That's not how you brainstorm. I think my opponent might be new to this. Well, I am glad my opponent has not done anything to me, so I just get to surveil with impunity and continue to mill land after land. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just cast Recruiter, because if it gets countered, then I get to Formal Wear it. Yeah, that's fine. Just want to use some sort of magical card in the top of their deck to crack before brainstorming. Maybe. Who knows? It's truly unknowable. That's cheating. No. That's not fair. That's so messed up. hate when main deck graveyard hates good against death and taxes. That's so messed up. So I know that one of their cards in hand is an Underground Sea, because they picked it up with the days and then played a fetch land. One of the cards in the hand is still Underground Sea. Perfect. Love to see them not attacking. I am going to fetch here, but I'm just going to fetch for basic swamp. And then I'm going to get a surveil with one of these. Yeah, bummer. I get to at least make future barrowglyphs not super threatening, so that's something at least. They definitely picked up an Underground Sea off of days, and they haven't brainstormed since that happened. A little confused. Yeah, I'll keep that. We can just play this game super slow at this point. Play Caracas for Tameo. Get rid of sorcery. Okay. Ooh. That's rude. Force, pitch, force. Sure. Okay. I'm actually supposed to cast this wisp into a daze. I know, unless I am going crazy, their hand is Underground Sea something else. It would kind of make sense for that something else to be a daze because they haven't done anything. Though I guess if that was the case, they would have pitched the daze to the force instead of the second force, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. Probably trading with the orc army here. Yeah. Oh no, I should trade with the bowmaster because I'm about to draw another wisp that could, yeah. Well, I guess I'm probably flickering the back street either way anyway, huh? I would love a stone forge, thank you. It's the exact kind of thing I'm looking for. Alright, now I'm just going to take one because I win this race right now. I assume it'll change, but Wisp can block much scarier things. That's annoying. Okay. I would love a second formal wear here, but I only have one in the deck right now. So I'm going to go for Phantom Blade, and I'll put Yorin in my hands. Interesting. I'm good. That's a bummer. A very manageable bummer, but I would rather have the Phantom Blade than the Yorion right now. So, sure. And I get to cast a Recruiter? Sick. I think this is just going to get a Solitude. Yeah. Entirely foreseeable. Sure. Nethergoyf resolves. Lovely. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, yeah, blue-black. Pretty simple matchup. Cast your removal spells, and they lose. Gonna board in all these. Ghost Vacuum is like... I don't know for sure if it's good, but, you know, your opponent does have some graveyard synergies, and I think it is relatively low cost to put one in your deck and like make their Nethergoyfs a lot smaller. Remember not to draw every land in the deck. I'm trying. It worked out relatively well that game. I mostly only drew lands when I wanted to. And then I have been boarding out Thoughtseizes versus blue-black. I think Thoughtseizes are generally totally fine versus Tempo. Just I've preferred having having more stuff that just impacts the board. I think Psychic Frog in particular changed it up a little bit because it's just hard to play cards that don't affect the board right away sometimes in these matchups where it feels like the only way that you lose is because a Psychic Frog was not answered. In other news, this hand is fine. A little clunky, but it can get there. It's got one removal spell. My opponent's casting a Ponder off an island, so I'm certainly happy with that. I'm going to start with the fetch, but I think I'm pretty unlikely to be surveilling here. I think what I'm probably going to do is just get a play plans in. I did not notice that my opponent shuffled off their Ponder. So they just kept a one lander, and yeah, that was definitely a paid actor. When am I updating the bot type of Blue Sky? Like, great question. I will probably figure that out for next stream. I'm gonna write that down. Whoa. There we go. Finally, I'm on the play. Holy shit. Let's go. This hand's pretty fine. I like this hand, but there are certainly things that could go wrong. But we're going to keep it and put the backstreet back. Backstreet's back. My opponent is also mulliganing to 6, so pretty happy with that. All right, opponent, do your worst. I was really hoping they were not fetching Underground Sea. Yep, here we go. Reanimator. Excuse me. Atraxa sure has been animate-deaded. Welcome to game 1 versus Reanimator. Animate dead, entomb, delta, reanimate. My opponent knows what they're about. Troll across the team. Okay. So I think the plan is I'm going to take a hit from this Atraxa, and I'm going to, I guess the first thing is cross your fingers that the Stoneforge Mystic resolves. Come on, chat. Cross them. Chat, yes! Okay. All right. There is hope for us yet. Grab this Lion Sash. This Entomb is now answered. The Atraxa will be answered with a Skyclave on the Animate Dead, at which point the Sash will also get that out of there. There is hope for us yet. The other nice thing is that if my opponent tries to reanimate the Troll, then I can just Sash that, and they can't Entomb and Animate Dead because then they will only have 2 mana left. So they would have to have another reanimate, which certainly could happen. We'll see. That's fine. I can live with that. There's the delta that we knew about. Excuse me. Entomb. Do they just not know how this works? Excellent. They do not know how this works. Sick. I almost want to cast this Witch Enchanter so that I have Skyclave as an answer to a Psychic Frog, but I think that's deranged. All right, well, Atraxa and Archon are answered. So those are the biggest problems. That is, yeah, that's fine. Is this a Psychic Frog? It is, okay. I'm going to get rid of their Troll now. Let me think. So I think it is a little bold of them to take literally only the stuff that puts another big creature into play when they've already put an Atraxa into play. Certainly against D&T, Atraxa is often not enough to win the game. I mean, we've already seen here how it was not enough. I don't know if... I feel like they probably should have taken the Force of Will as long as they also had a blue card in their hands. But I guess even then they can take a Ponder because they don't really need Animate Dead and Reanimate. That is probably where I have the most issue. I feel like the Reanimate probably should have been one of the Ponders. I don't necessarily feel comfortable analyzing it any more than that, just because I don't play this deck. I only know how I lose to it. um, but that's where my head is at. I think I probably would have at least taken a Ponder and potentially taken a Force of Will over an Entomb, because I think once the Atrax is in play, your best bet is just to. I guess I've already had Aether Vials in play, which makes Force a little worse. Um, so I think taking Force probably requires a lot of matchup knowledge and recognizing that like the one way that we really that they lose is if we cast Stoneforge, it resolves, and we Violent Sash. And I think if that doesn't happen, then they're probably, I guess they're probably winning anyway. It's hard to say. They also may have been pushed to take the Entomb because they didn't hit a creature off of the Atraxa, so maybe they just even didn't even have another threat if we answered the Atraxa. But again, the Ponder can also solve that problem. So I don't think it's as cut and dry as they should have taken Force of Will, but I do think it was very good for me that they only took the stuff that put another big creature into play. So they shuffled off the Ponder and did nothing. Okay, cool. So I am going to eat more cards out of their graveyard. Yeah, that's fine. No skin off my back there. So this stays on 3. This goes to 5. I don't want it right now, but that will be useful later. So I'm going to put Yarn in my hands. We're going to attack with everything. Okay. Do I generally find it worthwhile to try to hide the Lion Sash from removal by reconfiguring it onto another creature? Yeah, I think when you have, I actually in the on the previous turn, I think I overlooked that I had the mana to do it. It's generally good when you can, but there's also a lot of times where you just don't have the time to do it because you're usually dying pretty fast. I think you should do it when you can. Yeah. I hope that was a sufficient answer. I'm going to get Formalware here. All right, cool. Let's go to post-board games. Bring in all of these. These 9 cards. I want to cut this card and this card and these cards and those cards. Easy. I sideboarded in this matchup quite a bit. This hand is really clunky. It's very wastelandable. We aren't really casting anything until turn 3. We have Thoughtseize, obviously, but I'm gonna try it, but I'm definitely not confident by any means in this hand. We have enough better cards to multi that we're maybe just supposed to mulligan. This hand doesn't care that much about Thoughtseize. I guess them Thoughtseizing our Thoughtseize kind of sucks. If they do that, though, we just get to wasteland them and buy a draw step, which isn't the worst thing either. Recruiter. Interesting. That is not what I expected. Emperor Bones. Now that's a good one. Alright, don't wasteland me because it would be really messed up if you wastelanded me. Alright, cool. Their hand is garbage. Let's take the Ponder, I guess. Oh, are they no, animate dead, they could animate dead my recruiter. Is that why they Thoughtseized it? I think it is, actually. So if I leave them with the animate dead, it is a pretty bad feeling into an untapped land from them. But if they just have the Undercity Sewers, then I can play Emperor Bones on my turn to exile the recruiter, keep them so they don't have anything to get back with animate dead. Did MTG retroactively apply the Twilight frame? Yeah, I heard that it was not intentional, but yes, they did. I'm going to take the Ponder because I think the downside of them getting to animate dead my recruiter is really not that bad. Cool. They don't get to do it anyway. They bin a Psychic Frog? That seems kind of crazy to me. Oh, do they draw a reanimate? Is that why? Yeah, okay. That's annoying. So I think I'm going to cast Stoneforge here, and I'm going to get a Formal Wear? Yeah, this seems like a good Formal Wear spot. Is it a shoot the sheriff? Yeah. See ya, Stoneforge. Ooh. Like a little worried about what could go wrong here if I give them a lands. But I think that's better than giving them a card. Oh, I should do... Yeah, do this. Oh, yeah, yeah. I expected them to bin Metamorphosis Fanatic at some point, but I guess they're not interested in that, and I'm not gonna be upset about it because it kind of sucks while it's in their hands anyway. So. Do they know about the Emperor? I didn't think they did, but I could be wrong about that. It's been a very weird game. I'm not confident I've been playing it right. But there's a lot of very new situations for me. Is this animate dead on the Psychic Frog this time? Come on, opponent, you gotta do it. Gotta do something. Okay. Animate dead. Psychic Frog is on the board. I think that I am actually pretty happy paying 3 life to play around Daze here. And I'm gonna split up. Destroy all untapped creatures. Successfully Council's judgmented, except worse. And now they've been the Fanatic. So hopefully they don't have a reanimation spell. If they do, we have some ways to get back from that. Yeah, annoying. Okay. It is not the end of the world, though, because we can... If we draw any lands, that's actually really good. We get to Formalware back the Emperor, and then Emperor back something else in one turn. Perfect. I think that's what we're going to do then. I don't have a basic planes in play. I guess I'll do this. Okay. I'm probably going to Emperor back the Recruiter for a Solitude, but I could also take a hit off of the Frog and like Emperor back Stoneforge for Phantom Blade, something like that. Never mind. They just have consigned to memory. Got it. I will be doing none of it. They draw another Fanatic? Sure. I guess they just brainstormed that to the top, didn't they? Can I get that split up back, please? Probably need to just chain like chain Solitudes here to get out of it. This is something I can recruit for a Skyclave to get the Psychic Frog out of here. So I have to chump one of the Fanatics next turn. I think that I have to chump it with the Recruiter so that I don't give them an extra creature to kill me with, especially because I'm going to be going down to 2. Yeah, alright. Yeah, this seems right. I go down to 2. Any 3-drop here is good. Anything that I can do while putting Yorion into my hand is really what I'm looking for, I think. You can do it, opponent. I believe in you. Animate dead on Recruiter. Okay. Recruiting for a frog then. Yeah, okay. That is not a thing that I can do while putting Yorion into my hands. I mean, I guess it is only by the strictest definitions. Well, that's very annoying. Okay, let's try to close this. Let's just have an opening 7 with Grafdigger's Cage in it, because those games are a lot more comfy. It's not a Grafdigger's Cage, but it's probably it's close to as good as it can get without one. Yeah. We also, that game went on for a while for us to not see an Entomb at any point. It's possible my opponent boarded out the Entomb package, which I would be thrilled about. I'm not going to assume that they did, but it is a possibility. Island Ponder is great because, again, it means that I am not getting Entomb reanimated on turn 2. Basic Island is by far the least scary land out of Reanimator. Oh, hey. What do you know? Now we get to do all this while playing around days. That's cool, too. And my opponent showed me both of their basics. Is Path to Exile just better than Swords to Plowshares? Let's go. They also didn't fetch them. They just happened to draw them. That's kind of funny. Yep, you got it. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to keep that on top because I just want to keep making land drops too. So. Especially into the potential face of a wasteland at some point. My opponent just drew a Metamorphosis Fanatic. Declined to cast it, which is a little interesting. This is going to be a Barrogoyf. You got it. Okay, there's a couple different things I can do here. I could pitch. I think if I'm pitching something, I'm going to pitch the second Solitude. I could also play Stoneforge and hope that they don't have a removal spell and I just get to chump the Barrogoyf for a turn. I could also Stoneforge for Sash to have 2 different potential blockers. I could also pitch Yorin. There's a lot of options here. I could also potentially like Stoneforge for Phantom Blade and take 1 hit off of their Barrogoyf. Yeah, they have to mill a creature. Probably only milling 3. The odds there aren't actually that good. So I think I'm going to Stoneforge for Phantom Blade then. If I get the option to block, I think I am going to. But I think the risk if I I'm gonna take the block. I don't think it's a disaster if I don't get to block because they fatal push it or whatever. Okay. Nice. That simplifies things quite a bit. So I can just swords this and put Yorion in my hands, and I don't really care if my Yorion gets thought seized because my hand is just full of 5 mana spells that kill something, basically. Okay, so they do have Entomb. Do you have Atraxa? Or no, they Entomb for Atraxa. Do they have Brazen Borrower? That's the thing I'm wondering. Well, not yet they don't. Okay, I think my opponent just has a draw step. They have not drawn Metamorphosis Fanatic the last 4 draw steps. I don't think that's what's happening. Alright, well, we get to chill out for a bit. Yeah. Draw step, brainstorm, got it. Excuse me. And brainstorm locked. I guess they could have a troll, but that doesn't seem super likely right now. I think they would have cycled the troll if they had it. And just played the land. Ah, I see. Got it. I guess I just take the force then? Yeah. Yeah, finally we get to cast these Solitudes. Opponent's at a casual 31. I think with two more idiots in my hand and a Karakas in play, I'm just gonna play Yorion 2 to have even more power in play. Just get this game over quicker. I had a feeling that they were just gonna have another Metamorphosis Fanatic on top, and good for them. In their shoes, I would have entombed and shuffled them both away. All right, folks, we're getting there. We're almost over the finish line. Sometimes you just play a cage and your opponent just never finds an answer for it. They entombed for polluted Delta. Love to see it. All right, there we go. All over. Phew. First, got a little worried after those first two matches that we were just going to crash and burn, but it all came back together. It was nice to cast Cabal Therapy again. It made those games against Stoneblade really fun. Would have been better if I drew it when my opponent cast the Stoneforge Mystic, but hey, what are you going to do? We only boarded it that one time, right? Split against Pox, where we got turn 1 Karned. And what else did we lose to? I'm already forgetting. Oh, it was Cradle, where we did bring in Therapy, but only drew it once, I think, and our hands just weren't lining up well. So we'll see. We're gonna get some more reps with it on Saturday, so I'm excited about that. And hopefully my thesis this time for Cabal Therapy works out. It worked out last time way better than I ever would have expected, but the parameters are definitely a bit different this time around. But man, it's so fun to cast. All right, that took a while. I'm getting pretty sleepy. We're going to head over to this outro screen right here. Thank you, everybody, for watching me and sticking around and just being a good old viewer. You can find me on all of these different places on the internet. I do, in addition to that Twitter one, I do have a Blue Sky. It's also at Akaleth. I'm going to be slowly migrating over to Blue Sky officially for reasons that I probably don't need to get into. Type !Metafy in the chat for a link to the deepest dive on D&T that has ever been done before. Awesome collaboration project between me, xJCloud, and luinil, and Anuraag Anzid. Really awesome project there. I will be streaming on Saturday this week in the playing in the MTGO Creator Legacy Showdown. That'll be at noon on Saturday. Probably will not be streaming on Sunday because of that, but I haven't locked that in yet, so we'll see. But those are the main two announcements. Thank you again to Tony and to Strass Daddy for the raids. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around if you are still around from those raids. But I'm tired, and I'm going to head to bed. So have a good night, everybody, and I will see you next time.